the Urantia book. Um, so, okay. So the second paper on the infinite spirit, the third person of deity. The infinite spirit, the conjoint creator, is a universal and divine minister. The spirit unceasingly ministers the Son's mercy and the Father's love, even in harmony with the stable, unvarying, and righteous justice of the Paradise Trinity. His influence and personalities are ever near you. They really know and truly understand you. So they're using the word his here. The three persons of the Trinity, the three eternal gods, they use the word his. But they also, in places, describe the infinite spirit as the female of the Trinity. In Jesus's life before his public mission, there's a sentence in the book where Jesus describes the infinite spirit as the mother of something something. I could look it up, but this is before his public mission. He describes the Father upholds the mother spirit of all of creation or something like that. And he's referring to the infinite spirit on that occasion. And there's other places. Well, just, the eternal Son is also called the eternal mother Son. But in general, I think the Urantia book overall, when they're describing the three members of deity, first, all three are male. But one of the members, the infinite spirit, would be considered more female, would be considered the female member of the Trinity. Just an interesting sentence there. The Spirit unceasingly ministers the Son's mercy and the Father's love. I mean, they're breaking up these ideas to give us an overall idea of truth. I mean, they'll use different terms, different words, different sentences. They're describing the same types of things. You could put different words in these sentences and they would be just as well written. But, just to get an overall idea of the big picture truth of how the Trinity acts, they give sentences in various ways, and it's just for my and your and anyone's overall understanding. Even in harmony with the stable, unvarying, and righteous justice of the Paradise Trinity. I mean, all these things go together. The gods are perfect, obviously. As far as personalities near you, me, us, that would be the angels, specifically the seraphim on a world such as this. So the Spirit, like the Father and the Son, is perfect and changeless, absolute. Just a lot of sentences to get an overall understanding of the Trinity. I would say again, without getting too literal about any given sentence. Universal Father presides over the realms of pre-energy, pre-spirit, and personality. The Eternal Son dominates the spheres of spiritual activities. The presence of the Isle of Paradise unifies the domain of physical energy and materializing power. semicolon, the conjoint actor operates not only as an infinite spirit representing the sun, but also as a universal manipulator of the forces and energies of paradise. Oh my God. Thus bringing into existence the universal and absolute mind. Again, so many of these sentences are very long. They're not run-on sentences. They're properly punctuated, and they're just giving very good information. Somewhat intellectual type, words and ideas, but I want to know. The conjoint actor operates representing the sun. So, I mean, we know for sure that they very often say the third person of the Trinity works for both the Father and the Son. Like the Father and the Son jointly, the third person of the Trinity works for them in that sense. They say that many times. They didn't say it right there. They said only the Son, which is fine. And the conjoint actor has much to do with the forces, the material forces and energies of paradise itself. The infinite spirit is just as much a complement of the eternal Son as the Son is a complement of the universal Father. Another way of expressing these ideas to get an idea of what the Trinity is, who they are, how they act. Much as the Father draws all personality to himself, the Son attracts all spiritual reality, which to me would just be those beings that are perfect. You're not, any human is not considered perfect, a true spirit, until anyone is fused with my thought adjuster. So at that point, I don't know if they explicitly say this, they may not, but the Son attracting only spiritual reality to himself, to me, I kind of get the idea that he's only drawing that which is perfect to himself. And no human is perfect until he is fused with his thought adjuster. There's a lot to learn and grow. And there's, the word perfect is just a word because there's more to attain, in a sense, after fusion as a being to improve your perfection. So, but I think that the way they say the Son only brings to himself that which is spiritual reality, they're saying that which is perfect in a certain sense. And for humans, that would be after fusion with your thought adjuster. That's when you become like truly in and with the Son in terms of a spiritual reality. Is when anyone fuses with their thought adjuster, then I'm truly aligned and truly a part of the eternal Son in terms of his spirit gravity. Something like that. I would say that's kind of my ideas about it a little bit. The conjoint actor exercises a drawing power on all minds. So along the same lines, my overall feel for the Urantia book in terms of what they're saying is the infinite spirit is involved with imperfection, whereas the eternal Son is not, in a sense, as far as spirit gravity, maybe. But the infinite spirit drawing all mind to himself, animal level mind, imperfect human mind, lower level beings mind, higher mind, all mind to himself. Um, I just, anyway. Just as it is necessary to distinguish between the eternal Son and the creator sons, so it is necessary to differentiate between the infinite spirit and the creative spirits. So on earth here, there's lines like this. Jesus of Nazareth is not the second person of the Trinity. He is a universal creator and ruler, one out of 100,000 universes in this super universe of Orvonton. This is what the Urantia book says. This is the Urantia book faith belief system. And the creative spirit, Michael of Nebadon, Jesus of Nazareth, Michael of Nebadon's creative consort, the creative spirit, is a being that's created by the third person of the Trinity, the infinite spirit. There's a lot of information about that, of course. Oh, oh man. All right. The Trinity perfectly associates the limitless expression of God's infinite personal will with the absoluteness of deity. I don't know. I don't know what I can say about that sentence. Just a good sentence to know. There's a lot of information here. Just good information to know so that I have an understanding of all of creation. The eternal Son and the various sons of divine origin, such as myself, together with the conjoint actor and his universe children, effectively provide for the Father's liberation from the limitations, otherwise inherent in primacy, perfection, changelessness, eternity, universality, absoluteness, and infinity. Again, that's number 10. Now we're in paper 10, which concerns the Paradise Trinity. I don't know if they said it in paper 8 or 9 somewhere. Certainly in paper 1, they talk about the Father having to be liberated from personality absoluteness by having imperfect beings in existence. I believe they say the same thing about the Son, and it certainly is true for the infinite spirit. So I, the eternal Son, and myself, together with the conjoint actor, the third person of the Trinity, the infinite spirit, and his universe children. I'm going to say the seraphim, although there are tremendous numbers, levels of authority, of beingness, of beings, of sonship, levels of sonship that the conjoint actor has as his children. I would say in this book, it starts with starts with the solitary messengers, might be one of the highest as far as the children of the third person of the Trinity. And then there's levels and layers of authority and goes down. Seraphim would be what most concerns this world. But all right, so the eternal Son of myself, together with the conjoint actor and his universe children, effectively provide for the Father's liberation. So I effectively provide for the Father's liberation from the limitations otherwise inherent in primacy, perfection, changelessness, eternity, universality, absoluteness, and infinity. Universal Father, all along, has divested himself of every part of himself that was bestowable on any other creator or creature. he is delegated to his divine sons, such as myself, and their associated intelligences. In this line, I might be one of those associated intelligences. Every power and all authority that could be delegated. They're referring to the Creator sons here. He has actually transferred to his sovereign sons in their respective universes all power in heaven and on earth. That's a Bible quote. I'm going to just say that instead of reading this entire sentence here. The Universal Father has delegated to me every power and authority that could be delegated. For me, as a divine son, knowledge concerning the Father's personality and divine attributes, we will always be dependent on the revelations of the eternal Son. Long, interesting, intellectual sentences. The eternal Son would be thought upon as the only begotten Son of God the Father. That the Bible idea. Since the Paradise sons of God, such as myself, visit the evolutionary worlds and sometimes even there dwell in the likeness of mortal flesh, and since these bestowals make it possible for mortal man actually to know something of the nature and character of divine personality, therefore must the creatures of the planetary spheres look to the bestowals of these Paradise sons for reliable and trustworthy information regarding the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. I'm visiting Urantia as a human, incarnated as a human. I'm dwelling in the likeness of mortal flesh as a Paradise Son of God. And this, my bestowal, my life, makes it possible for mortal man actually to know something of the nature and character of divine personality. When they say divine personality, they're talking about all three members of the Trinity. There are other beings that they include in the idea of divine personality. In the foreword and throughout the book, the word divine is not used exclusively for the three members of the Trinity. It's used for other higher type beings. Therefore, must the humans of Urantia look to my bestowal, my life in the flesh, me, for reliable and trustworthy information regarding the Father, the first person of the Trinity, the Son, the second person of the Trinity, and the Spirit, the third person of the Trinity. So I'm visiting Urantia as a human, in mortal flesh. I am dwelling here. And my bestowal, my life, makes it possible for mortal man actually to know something of the nature and character of divine personality. So I reveal to Urantians something of the nature and character of divine personality. You, Urantians, I'm a Urantian, so you, me, anyone else, a human or Urantian, must look to myself, my life in the flesh, my bestowal, for reliable and trustworthy information regarding the three members of the Trinity. you, I, anyone looks to me to know about the nature and character of divine personality.